you can go in the office and just say, hey, is there no crisis today that I have to deal with?
No, first of all, you wouldn't say that because you would jinx yourself. I am, even after 3 decades, as energized and as passionate about what I do as I've ever been, and it's an honor to do what I get to do. We've got great people in this game at all aspects, whether it's the players, off-ice personnel, people who cover the game and bring it to our fans. And so I love what I do, and I think the game, speaks for itself these days in terms of how fast, how competitive, how entertaining it is.
And you're right. You cannot pick a winner in these games today. It's really difficult. I stay out of the betting part of things, that's for sure. But at the same time, these
I'm glad
teams.
to hear that.
Yeah. Well, because of the cap situation, it really has brought the teams closer together, and it's really difficult. It used to be like if you're in New York or Toronto or Detroit, you could spend money. Now you don't have that money anymore.
Well, they can spend money, but only to a certain extent. Right. And it's the cap coupled with revenue sharing, so that all teams can afford to compete. And the notion is we want you as a fan, no matter who you root for, to feel your team has a shot at making the playoffs. And once the playoffs begin, and you know how good our playoffs are, starting in the first round, there's nothing comparable to it. You feel that if you root on your team, you got a good shot at seeing a great result.
It's amazing how this sport has grown worldwide. I mean, Minnesota had the distinction of going to Finland one year, Stockholm last year for some competition over there. And what you have brought to the table here certainly has made this a sport that is being introduced to a lot of different areas it never had it before.
That's true, and wherever we seem to have teams, they do well. The South, the 2 Florida teams, look at Las Vegas and how well we're doing, Texas. But also, we never lose sight of the fact that we've got great, more weather-wise traditional hockey markets like what we have here in the state of hockey. I mean, there are great fans here. This is a great place to come together to see a game. And there's a real appreciation in Minnesota for hockey at all levels.
Yeah, and you look at where the games have been going. I remember in '67 when I broke in Chicago, we were saying, like with Sam Mikita and Bobby Hull, how can you have games being played in California? It's not cold enough. But now we're seeing next year we got 2 games that are going to be held in Florida. So you're hoping that it's going to be a little bit cooler maybe.
Something novel, something innovative, and a number of people have asked us if we've lost our minds. But obviously, I think we've done now 42 outdoor games. We really have great ice-making capability, great people in hockey operations. And so at the end of the day, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think we could do it successfully. And it'll be great for the fans in Tampa and South Florida.
Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, our guest here right now after the second period, which Minnesota's trailing by a score of 3-0. I guess what's the biggest challenge for you as a commissioner?
It's really, there's never one thing. What we want to do is make sure the game's in great shape, make sure that our fans can connect to the game in ways that they want and feel good about what it is we deliver night in and night out. And we have to anticipate what's happening into the future, how to distribute games, how to take advantage of digital platforms and social media, how to make sure that people at all levels and of all backgrounds have access to the game, to make sure that the hockey ecosystem is working day in and day out.
The World Junior Championships just finished up here not too long ago, and of course, I should say the USA winning 2 gold medals consecutive years, which has never been done before. But it's fun to watch the kids and watch them on TV and see, because this is the future of the National Hockey League.
Hockey, particularly in the United States, is growing by leaps and bounds, and it's gratifying to see, both in terms of participation and the level of skill. And you're seeing more college programs than ever before, and I think it bodes well for the future of the game.
And now you've got also the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, coming into the floor, and they've had pretty good crowds here, especially when it comes weekends, and you see the young girls coming here and enjoying that part of the game.
As a grandfather to 6 granddaughters, I think it's great that women, young girls, have women to look up to at all different sports and have role models in terms of, having dreams that they aspire to. So, I think what the PW has done in their first year has been incredible. We're extremely supportive, and we know they're going to continue to grow.
You were born in the Queens. Were you a hockey fan growing up as a youngster?
Yeah, I went to a game in the old Garden, and when I went away to college, Cornell, that was, the Ivies were never known for football or basketball, but Cornell was surely known for hockey, and I was a season ticket holder there all 4 years I was up in Ithaca.
You mentioned the old Garden, and that was the first time I ever played in the NHL was in the old Garden back in 1967.
You're dating both of us.
Oh, I know, but it was, and I don't remember much about the building. I remember the game, but I don't remember
it was
about
old.
The building. It was old, and we didn't make a lot of money in those days. But you know what? The game has grown in leaps and bounds, and I watch these young kids outdoor rinks, and I watch the parents how they make the ice for the kids. It's so refreshing.
Well, I'll give you a context, and I've said this a number of times. At the old Garden, and I would go there on the GO card they give you when you went to New York City Public Schools. You get in for 50 cents, you sit in the balcony, and there were no video boards in those days, right? So you just got to watch the game. But it didn't matter that there were no video boards because you never would have been able to see them, because by the end of the first period, there was a cloud of smoke from people smoking. That's how long ago it was.
I remember it well, playing in some of those buildings, which is so much cleaner now, so much nicer. And Minnesota, very, very fortunate to have, Mr. Nagley and the mayor, Norm Coleman, really put together the effort to bring hockey back to Minnesota.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Norm Coleman, this building wouldn't have been built and we wouldn't be here. And we miss Bob Nagley terribly. But Craig Leopold is a great owner. Fans here are lucky to have him. The community's lucky to have him. And we're thrilled that he's an owner in the league, and he's on the executive committee.
Now, you're sitting in his suite. Are you sitting close to him or not?
Well, he doesn't like people who sit next to him during the game. He's very superstitious. During the regular season, when I come to a game, I'll sit with an owner. We'll talk. During the playoffs, I won't go near an owner.
Yeah, I get you. Well, we appreciate you coming and stopping by.
Great to be here as always. Thanks for having me.
Gary Bettman, the Commissioner of the National Hockey League. Kevin, let's go back.